What's up, everybody? Welcome to day 2 here on the 31 Days of Horror. I'm your host, Mood616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Alrighty, yeah, day 2 is here, and yes, I got another one here from Anchor Bay. I believe this film originally debuted in 2014, got a media release here in 2015, and if I'm not completely 100% sure, but I think it only has a Canadian release here. I know it's getting a US release shortly, but I don't think it's out yet, if my memory serves me correctly. And of course, I am talking about Suburban Gothic. This is a film that I kind of heard little things about earlier in the year and kind of forgot about it, and then it got a media release, and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta check this one out. Kind of drawn in by the cover art. I think the cover art is actually pretty flashy, kind of cool. Didn't really know much about it, so wanted to give it a shot. But yeah, basically this movie centers around your main character, Raymond. Now, Raymond is a very odd and peculiar, almost eccentric type character. He's a very smart person, but he has some issues. He's kind of an underachiever. He has an MBA in business and stuff, and he's living in the big city, but now he's been kind of forced out of his big city apartment to move back into his parents' house, who live in the small town out in the country, because he can't seem to find work. Like I said, he's an underachiever. He's very frustrated, doesn't want to move back with his parents, but he has to. So fast forward, now he's moved back into his parents' house, and I guess when he was a child, he used to be able to channel like paranormal type activities and things when he was a kid. But when he kind of grew up and moved out and stuff, he didn't really have the ability to do it too much. But now that he's moved back into his parents' house, he starts having these like kind of weird nightmares and these weird kind of flashbacks. These weird moments and things start happening to him. And he can't really explain it. He's like, that's really strange. I haven't had these things since I was a child and stuff. But anyways, so basically what happens is, his parents have hired a construction crew basically to do some landscaping on their house. Anyways, they kind of discover something in the backyard, and they unleash this spirit. They kind of dig up this grave or whatever, and the spirit gets loose and starts terrorizing him and his family and stuff like that. And now he's got to figure out and try to channel his abilities to with the paranormal. With his friend of Kat Dennings, of course, from Two Broke Girls. Her name is Becca in the film. They got together. They got to figure out what exactly the mystery is with this spirit and how to get rid of the spirit before it starts doing some damage to them and the family and stuff like that. So, and of course, nobody believes him or anything that's going on about the spirit and stuff like that. So yeah, it's them just trying to figure out this, to deal with the spirit now. So yeah, my thoughts on this one. This movie is fun as hell. Such a fun film. First off, I'll start off with the characters. All the characters in this film are such a blast. I mean, right off the hop here, we got Matthew Gray Gobler, I guess is how you pronounce his name, I don't know. He's from Criminal Minds. I've never really seen the show, but apparently he plays kind of a weird, eccentric type dude on that show. My wife was telling me anyways, but, and he's very kind of similar in this movie, but his character's awesome. Like, he's funny, he's very charming, he's odd, he's very likable and weird. You're kind of drawn to his character because the way he delivers lines in this film are just priceless. Very, very priceless. Moving on to his parents now, his dad is probably one of those characters where he kind of steals the show in the film. He's a very unlikable but likable character, and what do I mean by that? He's very racist, he's prejudiced, he's a bigot, he's an asshole to Raymond, he's kind of a jerk husband, and he's everything that you don't like in a person, but he's oddly, very entertaining because he's so politically incorrect in this film that it's just, it's so funny, and it's hard not to laugh at the shit that he's saying, and it catches you off guard a lot of the times, the things that he is saying. It's subtly funny as hell. But yeah, the dad's played by Ray Wise, and he's just absolutely so much fun. The mom is very charming in this film too, very beautiful. And Kat Dennings, of course, does a great job. She kind of plays like this kind of dark, kind of gothic bartender, kind of hip bartender and stuff that, she was kind of an outcast like Raymond was as a kid, and that's why they kind of teamed up later in the film. But the characters in this film are just so fantastic. Really, really fun, and it's kind of what sets the whole tone of the film. It's just the great acting, the great delivery of all the awesome dialogue that's in this film. The story is actually pretty fun too. There's a lot more elements to than I gave away in the the brief synopsis of the film. There's a lot more things going on in the film, and then kind of sets it up to the third act and stuff. And then what it all comes down to is actually kind of funny, a little bit silly. The third act, in my opinion, is probably the weakest act of the film, but it's still very enjoyable. There's lots of funny ass moments throughout this film, and it's just it's very enjoyable. I would kind of compare this movie to the charm of like The Frighteners or something like that. It's kind of on those levels. It's kind of silly, not like overly silly, but it has those type of effects. And it has just a lot of charm, a lot of fun characters, and a lot of charm. Doesn't really try to take itself too serious, but the script is fun. It really is. The thing that sets this thing apart from a lot of like horror comedies and stuff is the great acting and the great delivery of the dialogue, and things like that. It's just overly charming. I was super surprised with this. I didn't really know what to expect from the first few minutes of it, and it got to be a very likable film. It's got brief cameos in this one from John Waters, and of course my favorite actor of all time, Jeffrey Combs, which is very cool. Jeffrey Combs actually plays a doctor in this film, and he's got a couple really funny ass moments in it too. But yeah, without giving anything away with this one, it's one you really got to check out. If you're not a fan of like horror comedies and stuff, I would really highly recommend this one anyways, because it's not that over the top silly type comedy. It's written well, and it's all in the acting and the way it's delivered. Like I said, it's very, very funny. This one had me laughing out loud many, many times. There's one scene in this film that I just absolutely pissed myself. Now, the father he's like an ex-jock asshole. He was the big high school football star, and now he's a high school coach / teacher. And there's this one scene where he has the football team over for dinner, and what he says to these two black guys is just absolutely so funny. I literally like almost fell off my couch laughing. I had to rewind it. I was like, you didn't just say that. But it's things like that just kind of catch you off guard. And lots of moments in the film that are like that makes it so highly enjoyable. It's just a fun film. Can't recommend it enough. If I had to rate this film, I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. 8 to 8.5. I'm probably going to give it an 8.5 out of 10, actually. I'm going to go as high as 8.5. It's really good. I think that, like, honestly, I think the third act was the weakest part of this film. And that's really kind of my only nitpick with it. I thought maybe it just kind of... There was a couple scenes in the film I thought really didn't need to be there. And I felt like a little bit of filler to, kind of fill up the whole 90 minutes and stuff. But that's really about it. There's not really a lot of bad things about this film. So yeah, Suburban Gothic. Definitely give this one a shot. I had an absolute blast with it. 8.5 out of 10. Check it out. Fun stuff. Another great release from Anchor Bay. Anchor Bay has actually been putting out quite a bit of good stuff. They do have a lot of hit and miss stuff that some other crappy stuff they put out, but they've been putting out some good stuff too. So, Suburban Gothic, check it out. 8.5 out of 10. See you guys in day 3. That's gonna do it for this day 2. Peace out, homies. Raymond, when you bring a girl home, you take her up to her room and don't disturb your mother when she's sucking my cock.